Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel while we are diving into a very important topic, that is sensory motor approach for autism. In this series of sensory motor approach, we have already discussed on why sensory motor integration matters for kids with autism. We learned about sensory processing basics and role of motor skills. We have looked into the tools and techniques and its connection to emotional regulation. In the last post, we learned about the importance of postural alignment in sensory motor approach. Today is World Disability Day, and we will bust some common myths and explain how sensory motor work impacts speech development and share some tips on finding the right support for your child. If you are ready to unlock your child's potential, then this video is for you. First, let us understand that how sensory motor integration impacts speech development. Speech development is a highly complex process that involves not only the brain and vocal cords, but also the entire sensory motor system. For speech to develop effectively, a child must be able to process sensory input from their body and environment and use motor coordination to produce sounds, words, and sentences. Understanding this relationship highlights why sensory motor integration is foundational to speech and communication skills. So, what is the relationship between sensory processing and speech development? Let's understand it. Sensory processing refers to how brain interprets and responds to sensory input from the body in the form of proprioception, tactile and vestibular input, and from the environment through sound, sight, smell, etc. Speech production relies on proprioception, which is awareness of where the body is in space, and it is critical for aligning the jaw, tongue, lips, and other articulators. Speech production also relies on the tactile input because it is essential for feeling the precise movements of the lips, tongues, and the soft palate. It heavily relies on vestibular system, which provides postural stability that supports breath control and the alignment needed for speech. When the sensory system work together efficiently, they allow the child to control and coordinate their body to produce sounds and words. However, sensory processing difficulties can disrupt this integration. So, what are the challenges in sensory integration and speech development? Children with sensory integration difficulties may face challenges in motor planning, oral coordination, and body awareness, impacting their ability to produce speech. Examples may include the oral sensory challenges. Children with hypersensitivity to oral input may avoid textures or resist activities like brushing their teeth. This can lead to poor oral motor strength and coordination, hindering clear articulation. The children, those who are hyposensitive, may have difficulty perceiving tongue or lip movement, making speech sounds inconsistent. Some of the challenges are postural alignment. So, poor core stability due to vestibular or proprioceptive dysfunction can result in slouched posture. This misalignment affects breath control, voice volume, and articulation clarity. A misaligned jaw or tongue position impact the precision needed for clear sound production. The third type of challenges are motor planning or dyspraxia. Children with sensory motor challenges may struggle with motor sequencing, affecting their ability to plan and execute the movements required for speech sounds or word combinations. The oral sensory motor stimulation and alignment in speech is very important, and let us understand why. Oral sensory motor stimulation targets the development of precise oral motor movements by integrating sensory input with motor planning. Through exercises like blowing, chewing, and tongue strengthening, OSMS helps children become aware of their oral structures and improve their motor coordination for speech. Now, let us understand what is the connection with body alignment. Speech production is not isolated to the mouth. Oral sensory motor stimulation emphasizes the importance of aligning the entire body for effective speech. Proper head, neck, and body posture ensures that the diaphragm is engaged for breath support, the jaw is stable to allow fine motor control of the tongues and lips, and the muscle tone is balanced to reduce tension that can hinder speech movements. For instance, a child slouching like this during a session may be encouraged to sit upright with their feet grounded, as this promotes better airflow and oral control. Let us look at some examples of sensory motor integration supporting speech. So I'm presenting you three very simple case studies which we have seen in last decade in our clinic. So the first is the tactile and proprioceptive work. A child with unclear articulation benefited with tactile cues like a gentle tap on the lips to signal where to place them for the B sound, like B. Let's see it again. B. This tactile input helped them integrate sensory feedback into motor planning for clearer speech production. A child who consistently spoke in a whisper was encouraged to improve their core strength and posture through sensory motor activities like balance beams and wall push-ups. The improved alignment allowed better breath control, resulting in louder and clearer speech. The third case study is about the oral motor activities which we do with our children. Using a straw to drink water, or the horns, or blowing the bubbles helped a child develop awareness of lip rounding and breath control, which is the foundational skill for producing sounds like O and W. So please look at the lip rounding required for that O or U and W. As a conclusion, speech development is deeply intertwined with sensory motor integration. Sensory challenges can disrupt alignment, motor planning, and oral coordination, leading to speech and communication difficulties. Approaches like oral sensory motor stimulation and sensory motor strategies emphasize the importance of integrating sensory feedback with motor actions, paving the way for clear and confident speech. By addressing the whole body, core stability, posture, and sensory processing, therapists and parents can support children in building the foundation necessary for effective communication. Now, let's debunk some common myths about the sensory motor approach in autism treatment. The sensory motor approach often faces misconceptions, with many assuming it's just about fun and games. In reality, this approach is a critical therapeutic method rooted in neuroscience and designed to address the unique needs of children with autism. Let us bust some common myths. The first myth is that sensory motor activities are just playtime. The fact is that the sensory motor interventions are intentional and goal-oriented. While they may look like play, each activity targets specific developmental needs like sensory regulation, body awareness, motor planning, or core strength, all of which are foundational for learning and communication. The second myth is that it is not evidence-based. The fact is that the sensory motor approach is backed by extensive research on sensory integration, neuroplasticity, and child development. Studies have shown that improving sensory regulation and motor coordination can enhance attention, emotional regulation, and functional communication skills in children with autism. The third myth is that it is not relevant to speech or academics. The fact is that the sensory motor work lays the groundwork for speech, learning, and social skills. For example, for speech, breath control, posture, and oral motor coordination are supported by sensory motor activities. And for academics, a stable core and well integrated sensory system help children sit, focus, and engage in structured tasks. The fourth myth is that all kids with autism need the same sensory activities. The fact is that sensory motor needs are highly individualized. One child may require deep pressure input for calming, while another may need vestibular activities for alertness. A personalized plan ensures the approach meets the child's specific goals and challenges. The fifth myth is that the kids will naturally outgrow sensory issues. The fact is that the sensory integration difficulties don't automatically resolve with age. Without targeted interventions, sensory challenges can persist, impacting emotional regulation, social interactions, and functional independence. The sixth myth is that the sensory motor work is only for young children. The fact is, while early intervention is ideal, sensory motor strategies can benefit individuals of all ages. Teens and adults can use these approaches to improve self regulation, motor skills, and participation in daily life. So, here is the truth about sensory motor work. Sensory motor work is a vital, evidence based therapeutic method that supports the overall development of children with autism. It's not just play, it's a carefully designed framework that addresses the foundational skills necessary for communication, socialization, and learning. So, how do we begin? Starting sensory motor therapy can feel overwhelming, but finding the right practitioner and resources makes all the difference. I'm giving you a step by step guide to help you get started on this transformative journey for your child. Firstly, look for the qualified professionals. Finding the right professional ensures your child receives evidence based and targeted interventions. Look for occupational therapists, those who are specifically trained in sensory integration techniques. Seek those therapists who are certified in SI, such as through the Sensory Integration Certification Program like SIPT certification. Then look for the physiotherapists or physical therapists. If motor skills or posture are key concerns, then the physiotherapist specializing in sensory motor work can help. Look for physiotherapists, those who have understanding and knowledge of programs like NDT, neurodevelopmental therapy, or Bobath method, or CIMT, or PNF, which is proprioceptive neurofacilitation. Look for the therapists, those who know and understand about primitive reflexes. Then look for the speech therapists, those who integrate sensory motor techniques like oral sensory motor stimulation and prompt into their practice to support speech development. Now, secondly, you should evaluate the therapist's approach. Not all sensory motor therapies are the same. When talking to the practitioners, ask questions like, are they experienced in working with children with autism? Do they know that all the behavior is a communication and it is always sensory and motor in nature? Do they use evidence-based methods like sensory integration therapy with adaptive response or sensory diets? Do they involve parents in the process and provide home strategies? Do they know the latest research-based methods like primitive reflex integration, oral placement therapy, or PNF, or NDT? And most important, the therapist whom you are going to, do they use co-regulation? Do they understand co-regulation? Do they train parents on co-regulation? So look for a practitioner who understands your child's unique sensory profile and works collaboratively to create an individual plan. Thirdly, please observe the environment. A sensory-friendly space is essential for effective therapy. Check if the therapy center has swings, crash pads, and climbing equipment for vestibular and proprioceptive input. Also check that does the sensor have a calm, structured environment for children with sensory sensitivities. Also look if the centers are able to help children with the auditory and visual supports. Now the fourth important point is that start small with sensory motor activities at home. While working with a professional is vital, you can begin integrating sensory motor activities into your daily routines. For example, for calming the child, use weighted blankets, deep pressure massages, or slow rocking. For alerting a child, make him do jumping on a trampoline with adaptive response, spinning, or playing with textured toys. For motor skills, try obstacle courses, balance games, or animal walks. A qualified therapist will guide you on the best activities for your child's needs. Join the support networks. Connect with other parents and caregivers who are on a similar journey. Online forums, local autism groups, or Facebook communities can provide recommendations, reviews, and encouragement. Last but not the least, understand that progress takes time. Sensory motor therapy is not a one-size-fits-for-all solution, and every child progresses at their own pace. Celebrate small wins and stay consistent with the recommended activities and strategies. Trust your therapist. Build a relationship with your therapist. So how can PlayStreet help? PlayStreet offers an online, self-paced course on understanding sensory integration designed for therapists, doctors, parents, educators, and even for university students. If you are a parent, this course is particularly crucial for understanding your child and providing the optimal support to your child's sensory motor needs. For more details on the course, please refer to the course description. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so and don't forget to like and share this video. So with this, we end the series on sensory motor approach and we will see you again in our next series of posts sometime soon. Bye-bye.